Hey guys, and welcome to Todd versus
BBD.
Today we're going to be playing some more Cons of Tarkir Standard, and we got a couple of doozies. I don't know how many of you follow Patrick Chapin's articles. I assume most of you, because Chapin's sweet bro. Is
he a bro?
I mean, he's a...
I haven't seen him at any frat parties.
But he does post a lot of deck lists because he likes to experiment with things and basically just kind of throwing ideas together and trying to see if something sticks, and occasionally it does. And so I was reading one of his articles a few weeks ago, and I saw a really sweet human warrior deck. And it made me think back to the Obelisk of Erd deck that kind of started gaining popularity after the Pro Tour in Seattle, Pro Tour M15.
Portland, yeah.
Or in Portland, excuse me. And it looked cool, and we lost a lot of the soldiers, I think, that were in that deck. But what we gained instead was a bunch of warriors. Now, we're going to go take a look at the deck real quick, and then I'll kind of go over, how the cards interact, what's good, what's bad, what might need to change, but let's take a look. So, first things first, Obelisk of Erd is the heart of the deck.
Yeah.
We want to maximize this card's power by playing a bunch of really cheap creatures, and hopefully they all have the same creature type. Now, a lot of our cards work well with the creature type warrior. We have 4 Chief of the Scale and 4 Chief of the Edge. These guys actually have pretty reasonable stats for their casting costs anyway.
They actually really do.
Yeah, like a 3/2 for 2 mana is really big for this color combination, as well as a 2/3 for 2 mana, and they give all your warriors a boost on either toughness or power, depending on which one you draw. Now, all of our creatures that we do have in the deck are humans, which is almost always going to be what we name them, Obelisk of Erd. However, there are draws where you might want to name warrior if you draw multiple Herald of Anafinza, and you get enough lands to just start making a token every turn with 1 or 2 of them, and then since the tokens that it makes are warriors and not humans. Same with Mardu Horde Chief. Now this guy also makes 1/1 white warrior creature tokens as opposed to humans. So if you have a draw that features a lot of tokens, Obelisk on Warrior might be a little bit better, but most time it's going to name human. The deck is full of 16 one-drop creatures, and we're just maxing out on one-drop so that we can try to make Obelisk as good as possible. And, the first 2, Bloodsoaked Champion and Tormented Hero, are both warriors. So, a start of Bloodsoaked Champion into Chief of the Edge attack for 3 feels really, really good against people with a bunch of lands that come into play tapped.
Yeah. I'm
really looking forward to trying that out. Now, the rest of the deck, we've already talked about the other one-drops. Soldier of the Pantheon's a human, not a warrior. But, I think he's going to have a lot of value against people playing these giant 3-color creatures. Since Cons focuses way more on the clans as opposed to individual colors. And then to top out the deck, we have 4 copies of Hero's Downfall because it's just the best at what it does. I think most black stacks should be playing for this card regardless. And then a Singleton Spear of Heliod to act as a 5th Obelisk of Erd.
Yeah, so I think that, I don't think there's that much of a difference between a soldier and a warrior. They're both fighting in battles. I think from a flavor standpoint, Obelisk Erd really should pump Soldier of the Pantheon.
Okay, so I think the thing about soldiers versus warriors is that soldiers fight for their team, right? Yeah. Soldiers fight with other people, whereas warriors, they just fight. They're not really on a team. They don't really care.
Well, sometimes they are.
I guess this guy's a chief. This guy's a chief, and they're warriors. So maybe
I think of warriors. I think of more I think when I think of soldiers, I think of people marching in a row.
Yeah.
When I think of warriors, I think of people charging you from
7 different directions.
Yeah, at the same time. Yeah.
The mana base pretty straightforward. We have 8 dual lands. We like temples, but we don't like the come into play tap gain life one. We wanted to make sure we can curve out more easily with Obelisk of Erd.
Is there any reason you don't have 4 Mutavaults in this deck?
There's a pretty good reason we don't have 4 Mutavaults in this deck, and that is not a legal card in Standard.
Thank God.
We don't want to load up on Mana Confluence too much, so we're only playing 2 copies, but I could see going up to 3, maybe 4 if the format is pretty slow and lots of coarser decks. So anyway, that is the main deck for Warriors. Let's go and take a look at the sideboard, and then we'll get to Brian's deck. All right, so the sideboard, we have a slew of removal and discard effects, and that's basically it. Thoughtseize is necessary against decks that have things like Anger of the Gods, or slow grindy decks that try to hit you with removal spells, and you just take away their one thing that can interact with you. Against Pelukronos type decks, we have 3 Suspensions Fields and 2 Banishing Lights. Against the black aggressive mirrors, we have 2 Dark Betrayals. 3 Freakus Cure against the red decks, and then Spear of Heliod because sometimes we just need to pump our guys more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sometimes they're not big enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Get 'em
they are
big.
pretty small. So anyway, guys, that's Warriors, and let's get to Brian's deck.